right? That learning environment. So if it's something that you will do in the future because you're first continuing your education, it's good that you bring that up, that it's important, that it's not just about your little network in the classroom just for classroom project, but also to go outside.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
like,
it helps you emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally, like, have some fun with friends, you know, go out and eat and stuff like that, beyond school. And from there, you just find it easier to connect with people who are professionals. Like, oh, like my classmate talked about this opportunity in research or whatever.
Just like I see you're doing that here in the class, right? Yes, yes, that's very important, yeah. But also the good thing is you were able to overcome or somehow work through all of those things and finished your degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For better or worse, yeah, but I finished.
But it's complete, yeah, yeah.
So I guess just move on then.
That's good. So now you're looking into psychology. Psychiatry?
Yeah, I was also thinking about social work.
Okay.
But the thing about me is that I'm an indecisive person, and I'm not really familiar with social work at all to begin with, so I should probably do some research before I speak.
Right.
But I feel like you might be making really big decisions for people sometimes, because social work can be difficult, I think. There might be like abusive households or some really bad things going on in a broken family, and that's why you're a social worker, to help them and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm not sure I would necessarily be, I don't know, I just don't, I would have to do something.
Yeah, so it's good that you had a previous experience where you just kind of dove into it, not really knowing what, right? And now you're thinking about it more carefully, right? Breaking it down and seeing if it's something that maybe you do want to do because of the circumstances.
Yeah, for a social worker, you usually need a master's, right?
Yeah.
So that would be like 2 more years of school, if that's what I wanted to do. But definitely I would research.
And there's more to that, like in that field with social work, that's a lot of things that I feel like a lot of us don't know, that there's little other titles amongst that, you know, there's social workers, but you can work with that, but do something else, like have a different title.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because she's a schizophrenic, and she's like a completely normal person. But I just think it's interesting that she also has a social worker. Like, why? I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it's goes to what Diana's saying, that there's a lot of titles.
Right.
And so if I was interested in psychiatry, that would kind of be a link there.
So it's probably to provide support for her to make sure that patients who are, schizophrenic or have psychological disorders, that they're able to continue and be compliant and have a network.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe you may not, your family may not know what you're going through, but these people are trained to help them stay on track. Yeah. And that's good because it helps your family life too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just me and my dad, and we would assume that she's fine, you know, but I guess the responsibility of the social worker is to be that extra person that she might confide in if she feels like she can share stuff with us, because she's in the house with us all the time. So.
Yeah. That's good. Does anyone have any comments to make in regards to what you've heard? No? No?
We have to give our time, like you said.
Say
Take small steps.
Take
small steps. You know, I have a friend who now he's a assistant principal in a school, and we come from smaller, being minorities. You know, you're the first generation that went to university, right? And most of us haven't gone there yet, and you're going to be the first one going. But it's true to take small steps, because there's also one thing maybe you may want to think about it: finding a mentor. Have you ever? Do you know what does a mentor do?
Someone that guides you.
Yeah.
Somebody that guides you?
Making decisions and
Okay. All right. A mentor. Have any of you ever had a mentor during high school? No?
A counselor?
It's a mentor is more, it could be a family friend, somebody that you know. It doesn't have to be connected to just your school life or your work environment. For example, pharmacy. Let's say you want to become a pharmacist and you're a tech right now, right? Well, you find one of those pharmacists you worked with, and you know one that you can connect with, that you get along, and that he gives you tips and he says, oh, you know, if you go to pharmacy school, you have to do this, X, Y, and Z. So it's somebody that kind of helps you, guides you, and gives you advice, and maybe they see things that you don't, based on your strengths, okay? And of course, it's somebody you have to like, and both of you have to like each other. And but and the reason why I mention that is because what the assistant principal that I know, he wanted to jump straight from high school in East LA somewhere to go to a university system, like a UC school. And his mentor said, no, he says, don't make that big a jump. Take small steps, graduate from high school, go to community college. Because community college is going to prepare you little by little, gradually, to the next step. Because if you go from high school to a UC system, he says, you're not going to make it. Do you think he meant that because he didn't have the intellectual capacity?
It's just, you're not prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Emotionally.
It's not
psychologically?
necessarily the academics, but the culture shock or
Yes,
whatever.
the culture
And
shock.
you meet a lot of people that
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm a film major, and it's like, God, like I wish I could be in your shoes and take my time to explore fun stuff.
Right.
But they're coming from backgrounds where their families are already established,
Mhm, mhm.
so they can give themselves the luxury to
Right.
study like something fun like
Yeah.
that.
I think it takes time too, like if you're fresh out of high school and you just turned 18, like you need time to learn discipline. 'Cause
Mhm. Do you think it takes time to learn discipline?
like if you're gonna go to school, like you have to, if you're responsible for your
Mhm.
grades and stuff, and
Yes.
if you don't take it seriously, then
Mhm.
you're gonna.
High school is all laid out for you.
Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
High school is all laid out for you. You're very right. They have a plan. You got 4 periods, 6 periods, whatever it is. And then what happens when you go to college?
It's up to you.
Ooh, play, right?
Classes.
You show up. Well, in the university or college system, are they at the door checking your name? Are you there? Are you not there?
Mhm.
All they care about is
They
lecture,
don't care for
then midterm, final. Were you there? They don't, doesn't matter, right, to them. So it's true, yeah, you take small steps to get there because you're not mature enough to do that. Yeah, when you have a mentor, they most of the time have been through all of that you are trying to do, and that's the reason why they advise you to maybe take smaller steps or go a different direction. Yeah. Mhm. So think about that as you move on with your education, career, even in the workplace. By the way, right? It's not just about school; it's in the workplace, right? You're a pharmacy tech, and then let's say you want to become a store manager or a pharmacy manager, or move up in the industry in the pharmacy. Maybe not necessarily being a pharmacist, right? But how do you get there? Can you get there by yourself? How? You shook your head?
Wait, I kind of does.
Experience.
How do you get, let's say in the store, right? You're a pharmacy technician. You can be a manager too, store manager. But how do you get from point A to point B?
You have to learn everything.
Learn everything,
Your experience.
experience,
You have to show them that you're ready for that.
yeah. And don't you think there's somebody above you that's gonna say, oh, you've got the possibility, and I see that you're learning, you've got experience, you're working hard. This is the next step you have to take to become a store manager, right? So there's always somebody else that's out there that can guide you through the process, right? Yeah.
And on the bright side, this is even us being an externship is going to help us even finding a job. I think
Uh-huh.
it was even if it was a little tough afterwards, I think it's going to be easier.
Yeah.
Just as we have, I mean, being in a pharmacy itself, it kind of looks better on your
Mhm, yeah.
resumes.
Plus, like you were saying earlier, all the different skills you use. A lot of people skills, soft skills, technical skills. You use almost every skill we possibly have in the pharmacy setting, and that you take with you anywhere you go. Anywhere you go. All right. So now it's discovery time. Did everybody count their letters? Everybody did that? So let's see how true you feel this is your answers. So now, you're welcome. So now you count the number of letters, how many letters you circled and bubbled, and that's going to tell you where your strengths are.
This is so true.
And yes, I want to see your feedback later.
This is
Do you
so
see what
much.
we're doing?
Nice. This is probably closest.
This is
One
so
I've got is better.
I only
than
got
the other
one
ones.
else.
Really? Closest to
Raven, did
your
you get
career?
architecture and construction?
What did you get?
I got
Wait, interior design?
For
Which
dominating is M?
Dominating is M, yeah,
Education.
education and training, so interested in planning, managing, including support service, library or information services. Then I got O, which is health science, interested in helping others, provide diagnostics, therapeutic information, include researching and developing healthcare services.
So you have a big smile too?
Yeah,
You think that you agree
it
with?
makes sense.
What is it? What were your results?
I got plants, agriculture, and natural resources. I got human services, interested in helping others with their mental, spiritual, social, and physical career needs. And M, education and training, including support services. I think